Hare Krishna, and rightfully so.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya.
Narayanam Namaskritya.
Naranchaiva Narottamam.
Naranchaiva Narottamam.
Devim Sarasatim Vyasam.
Devim Sarasatim Vyasam.
Tato Jaya Mudiraye.
Tato Jaya Mudiraye.
Nashtaprayeshu abhatreshu.
Nashtaprayeshu abhatreshu.
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke.
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki.
Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 3, text 44. This chapter is entitled as Krishna is the source of all incarnations. Tatra kīrtayato viprā
viprā-ṛṣeḥ
bhūri-tejasaḥ ahaṁ cādhyagamaṁ tatra niviṣṭas tad-anugrahāt sohaṁ śrāvayiṣyāmi yathā-adhītam yathā-mati tatra kīrtayato viprā viprā-ṛṣeḥ bhūri-tejasaḥ ahaṁ cādhyagamaṁ tatra niviṣṭas tad-anugrahāt sohaṁ śrāvayiṣyāmi yathā-adhītam yathā-mati tatra kīrtayato viprā viprā-ṛṣeḥ bhūri-tejasaḥ ahaṁ cādhyagamaṁ tatra niviṣṭas tad-anugrahāt sohaṁ śrāvayiṣyāmi yathā-adhītam yathā-mati tatra kīrtayato viprā viprā-ṛṣeḥ bhūri-tejasaḥ ahaṁ cādhyagamaṁ tatra niviṣṭas tad-anugrahāt sohaṁ śrāvayiṣyāmi yathā-adhītam yathā-mati
tatra kīrtayato viprā viprā-ṛṣeḥ bhūri-tejasaḥ ahaṁ cādhyagamaṁ tatra niviṣṭas tad-anugrahāt sohaṁ śrāvayiṣyāmi yathā-adhītam yathā-mati
tatra kīrtayato viprā viprā-ṛṣeḥ bhūri-tejasaḥ ahaṁ cādhyagamaṁ tatra
ahaṁ cādhyagamaṁ tatra
niviṣṭas tad-anugrahāt
niviṣṭas
soham va-śrāvayiṣyāmi yathā-adhītam yathā-mati
Okay. Right.
tatra kīrtayato viprā viprā-ṛṣeḥ bhūri-tejasaḥ ahaṁ cādhyagamaṁ tatra niviṣṭas tad-anugrahāt soham va-śrāvayiṣyāmi yathā-adhītam yathā-mati
Mataji.
Tatra kīrtayato viprā viprā-ṛṣeḥ bhūri-tejasaḥ ahaṁ cādhyagamaṁ tatra niviṣṭas tad-anugrahāt soham va-śrāvayiṣyāmi yathā-adhītam
Tatra, there, kīrtayatāḥ, while reciting, viprāḥ, O brāhmana, vipra-ṛṣeḥ, from the great brāhmaṇa-ṛṣi, bhūri, greatly, tejasaḥ, powerful, ahaṁ, I, cha, also, kādhyagamaṁ, could understand, tatra, in that meeting, niviṣṭas, being perfectly attentive, tad-anugrahāt, by his mercy, sa, that very thing, ahaṁ, I, ba, unto you, śrāvayiṣyāmi, shall let you hear, yathā-adhītam, yathā-mati, as far as my realization. Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. O learned Brahmanas, when Śukadeva Gosvāmī recited Bhagavatam there in the presence of Emperor Parīkṣit, I heard him with rapt attention, and thus, by his mercy, I learned the Bhagavatam from the great and powerful sage. Now I shall try to make you hear the very same thing as I learned it from him and as I have realized it. Please repeat after me. O learned Brahmanas, when Śukadeva Gosvāmī recited Bhagavatam there, in the presence of Emperor Parīkṣit, I heard him with rapt attention, and thus, by his mercy, I learned the Bhagavatam from the great and powerful sage. Now I shall try to make you hear the very same thing. As I learned it from him and as I have realized it. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. One can certainly see directly the presence of Lord Sri Krishna in the pages of Bhagavatam, if one has heard it from a self-realized great soul like Śukadeva Gosvāmī. One cannot, however, learn Bhagavatam from a bogus hired reciter whose aim of life is to earn some money out of such recitation and employ the earning in sex indulgence. No one can learn Srimad Bhagavatam who is associated with persons engaged in sex life, That is the secret of learning Bhagavatam. Nor can one learn Bhagavatam from one who interprets the text by his mundane scholarship. One has to learn Bhagavatam from the representative of Śukadeva Gosvāmī and no one else, if one at all wants to see Lord Krishna in the pages. That is the process, and there is no alternative. Śukadeva Gosvāmī is a bona fide representative, Sutta Goswami is a bona fide representative of Śukadeva Gosvāmī because he wants to present the message which he received from the great learned Brahmana. Śukadeva Gosvāmī presented Bhagavatam as he heard it from his great father. And so also Sutta Goswami is presenting Bhagavatam as he heard it from Śukadeva Gosvāmī. Simply hearing is not all. One must realize the text with proper attention. The word niviṣṭas means that Sutta Goswami drank the juice of Bhagavatam through his ears. That is the real process of receiving Bhagavatam. One should hear with rapt attention from the real person. And then he can at once realize the presence of Lord Krishna in every page. The secret of knowledge of Bhagavatam is mentioned here. No one can give rapt attention who is not pure in mind. No one can be pure in mind who is not pure in action. No one can be pure in action who is not pure in eating, sleeping, fearing, and mating. But somehow or other, if someone hears with rapt attention from the right person, at the very beginning one can assuredly see Lord Sri Krishna in person in the pages of Bhagavatam. Thus end the Bhakti Vedanta purpose of the first canto, third chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Krishna is the source of all incarnations. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Śrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatani Shatavine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Tatra kīrtayato viprā, viprā-ṛṣeḥ bhūri-tejasaḥ, ahaṁ cādhyagamaṁ tatra, niviṣṭas tad-anugrahāt, so ahaṁ va śrāvayiṣyāmi, yathā-adhītam, yathā-mati. O learned Brahmanas, when Śukadeva Gosvāmī recited Bhagavatam there in the presence of Emperor Parīkṣit, I heard him with rapt attention, and thus, by his mercy, I learned the Bhagavatam from the great and powerful sage. Now I shall try to make you hear that very same thing as I learned it from him and as I have realized it. So, Krishna is the source of all incarnations. This chapter begins with describing the personality of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sutta uvacha jagrihe paurusham rupam Bhagavan Maharaja Sambhutam Shodasha Kalamado Loka Shishvikshaya. Sutta Goswami said, in the beginning of the creation, the Lord first expanded himself in the universal form of the Purusha incarnation and manifested all the ingredients for the material creation. And thus, at first, there was the creation of the 16 principles of material action. This was for the purpose of creating the material universe. So, who is the creator? The Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Shodasha Kala, with 16 ingredients, 16 elements. What are those 16 elements? Those 16 elements are 5 elements, 5 senses, 5 objects of the senses, and Mahatattva. And of course, then it further goes beyond that also. Sankhya philosophy adds 5 other elements to that. There are 5 working senses. And mind, intelligence, and falsehood. So 16 plus 8, 16 plus 5, 21 plus 3, 24. So, and how did he create? There are these elements, and in the material nature, and how does the material nature become manifest? At a glance of Mahavishnu. He just glances towards the material nature. And his glance activates the material nature. How does his glance activate the material nature? Because through his glance, the living entities come to this material nature. Material nature cannot become active by itself. Like matter cannot become active by itself. The matter must be with spirit, soul to be active. Matter is inert. And it is the spiritual element that makes matter active. This microphone cannot itself by move, right? In order to move, it needs some other force. And that force is living force. So that living force comes from Mahavishnu's glance. So this is very simple common sense understanding. 3 things: inert matter, living beings, and spirit souls. Living beings are combination of matter and spirit. We are a combination of matter and spirit in this material nature. The point is, in the material nature, matter by itself cannot become active. It needs the living force. And the living force is coming from the spiritual world through the glance of Mahavishnu. So this is how the creation begins, and then there are different incarnations have been described here. The first incarnations are the 4 Kumaras, according to this description. The 4 Kumaras. And then came, then there is a description of Varahadev, Shokara. The supreme enjoyer of all sacrifices accepted the incarnation of a boar. Jaggapurusha became a boar. The second incarnation. And he lifted the earth from the nether region of the universe. Then in the 4th incarnation is Devarshi Narad. I'm sorry, 3rd incarnation is Devarshi Narad. He is an Emperor. And then the 4th incarnation is Naranarayan. the twin son of the wife of King Dharma. Thus he undertook severe and exemplary penance to control the senses. Then the 5th incarnation is Kapil Dev. Then the 6th incarnation is Atri Rishi. 7th incarnation is Jagya, the son of Prajapati Ruchi and his wife Akuti. Akuti. Okay, 8th incarnation is King Rishabdev. 9th incarnation is Prithu Maharaj. The 10th incarnation is Chakshusha Manu. And this Chakshusha Manu, I'm sorry. After the period of Chakshusha Manu, the 5th incarnation, this 10th incarnation is Matsavatar, who actually is a fish incarnation and protected Vaivashyata Manu, keeping him up on the boat. The 11th incarnation is Kurma, the tortoise incarnation who held the Mandarachal hill in order to let the demigods and demons collectively churn the milk ocean. Then 12th incarnation is Dhanvantari, who then appeared with nectar. The 14th incarnation is Lord Nishingadev, who bifurcated the strong body of the atheist Hiranyakashipu with his nails, just as a carpenter pierces a cane. Then 15th incarnation is Vamandev. 16th incarnation is Parashuram, who annihilated the Kshatriyas for 21 times, being angry with them because of their rebellion against the Brahmanas. Then 17th incarnation is Vasudev. 18th incarnation, the 18th incarnation is Lord Ramchandra. 19th incarnation is Krishna Balaram. Krishna is the source of incarnation, so Balaram is the 19th incarnation. And then 20th incarnation is Buddha, who appeared as the son of Anjana in the province of Gaya. So this actually indicates that the Buddha that we know as Buddha is not the actual Buddha. This Buddha is the son of Suddhodhan, and he was born in Kapilavastu, today's Nepal. Suddhodhan and Maya, his wife's name was Maya. So the thing is, the original Buddha was long before him. And this Buddha achieved his nirvana or perfection because he meditated under the tree where actual Buddha was born, in Gaya. So Gaya is the place where he achieved liberation or enlightenment, this Buddha. And that place was sanctified because Anjana Sutta Buddha was born there.
So Śukadeva Gosvāmī sings Buddha's Das avatar.
Yeah.
That's that Buddha.
That's original Buddha.
Right.
Like this also
Okay.
is. Then in the beginning of Kali Yuga, the Lord will appear as Lord Buddha, the son of Anjana, in the province of Gaya, just for the purpose of deluding those who are envious of the faithful theist. Tikateshu. Then ultimately, thereafter, at the conjunction of two yugas, the Lord of the creation will take his birth as Kalki incarnation and become the son of Vishnu Jasha. At this time, almost all the rulers of the earth will have degenerated into plunderers. So this is how 22 incarnations have been described here. So here Krishna has been added an incarnation. 19th and 20th incarnation are Krishna and Balaram. Then 21st incarnation of Buddha and 22nd incarnation is Kalki. Kalki will come at the end of Kali Yuga. And it has been also described here that whose son he will be. Vishnu Jasha's son. Where he will appear, that also has been described. So, in this way, after describing 22 incarnations, it has been described the innumerable incarnations. Avatarahi ashankhayu. Sometimes people think when they hear about Dasavatar, there's only 10 incarnations. No, these 10 are just to give us an understanding. Here these 22 are just to give us an understanding. And there are 6 types of incarnations. Purusha avatar. Vishnus who are involved in the Lord when he is involved in creation of this material nature, that is his Vishnu incarnation of Purusha avatar. Mahavishnu who lies in causal ocean. Garbhodakshayi Vishnu and then Kshirodakshayi Vishnu. These 3 types of 3 different incarnations of Vishnu. Then Purushavatar, then Gunavatar. 3 modes of material nature are being controlled by the incarnations of the Lord. They are Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshwara, Lord Shiva. Brahma is controlling the Rajagun, Vishnu is controlling the Sattvagun, mode of goodness, and Lord Shiva is controlling the mode of ignorance. Then Leelavatar, various types of pastimes the Lord. Nrishingadev, Varahadev, Kurmadev. These are incarnations that are enacting different pastimes of the Lord. Then there are 4 Yugavatars. There are 4 yugas, Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga and Kali Yuga. In these 4 yugas, there are 4 Yugavatars. And then there are Manvantar avatars. In every Manvantar, there are 14 Manus. And during the reign of the Manus, the Lord happier also. As Manvantara avatar. And then Śukadeva. The Lord sometimes empowers some living entities. A living entity, by being empowered, execute some impossible task. Like Parashuram. Alone wiped out the Kshatriyas. How is it possible? And those Kshatriyas, those warriors, they were 1,000 times more powerful than these military power. Like, yeah, normally it's not possible for one person to wipe out. But Krishna also showed that. Just Krishna and Balaram, when Jarasandha came with 21 Akshauhini soldiers. 21 Akshauhinis means something like 21 lakhs soldiers. Include their elephants, horses, chariots, and infantry, Padati. How is it possible? Just 2 persons. That is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We can consider, actually, it is not difficult to understand that it is possible. Like just consider 21 million ants.
Right.
For a human being to wipe out 21 million ants, is it difficult at all? Just he'll take a broom and start beating them. So just as for an ant, it is impossible to figure out how somebody can, wipe out, 21 Akshauhini ants. So similarly, it is difficult for human beings to recognize, because we judge things according to our ability. But the Lord's ability is beyond our imagination. And this is how He can empower somebody also. Just as a human being can wipe out unlimited amount of ants, similarly the Lord can empower one ant to wipe out 25 million people. That is the potency of the Lord of empowering. He can empower him. This empowerment can be seen in this way. Say, there is a clerk, or an ordinary servant of a rich man. How much money that man has, that servant? He probably has a few $100s. But he goes and signs a contract on behalf of his master, $10 billion contract. He owns only 100 rupees, $100, but being empowered, that is, it is not his potency, it's not his money, but his man, his boss, who is a billionaire, on behalf of him, he goes and signs a contract on an agreement. Okay, I'm signing $10 billion or whatever. That is the meaning of being empowered. And now the question is, who does the Lord empower? Say a rich man, does he give anybody the power to sign on behalf of him? Or gives him the power of attorney? No. He gives it to his loyal servant, the one who is faithful. one who is loyal to him, and therefore he empowers him. So similarly, when one becomes a sincere servant of the Lord empowers him. Like one such wonderful example is Srila Prabhupada. One man came. How can one man do what Prabhupada did? And that also, this is Krishna's arrangement to show what empowerment actually means. Prabhupada comes at the age of 70 with empty pocket, no money with him. He didn't know anybody here, and he comes here. And then he created something that was beyond anybody's imagination. Like Prabhupada once told me that I'm the richest man in this world. In Bombay, I was sitting at Prabhupada's feet. Prabhupada was looking at the temple from his balcony. And he just like that, said, I'm the richest man. And he said, I have 10,000 followers who are working for me all over the world. How many companies have 10,000 people working for them? So this is like Krishna made the arrangement in this way, that the world would see what empowerment means. How he empowers his devotee. A 70-year-old man comes to, an Indian comes to America. And at that time, America was at the height of its prosperity. Srila Prabhupada comes here and spreads a movement. And not only that, he arranged it in such a way that it keeps on expanding. In 10 years' time, he established ISKCON all over the world. Now, is ISKCON shrinking or expanding? Today? Expanding. That is the meaning of empowerment. Being empowered by Krishna, Prabhupada achieved what he achieved. So, yeah. So who are the Parashuram, Narad Muni, Vasudev, Prithu Maharaj? These are the Shaktavesh avatars, empowered incarnation. So these are the 6 types of incarnations. Purusha avatar, Guna avatar, Lila avatar, Yoga avatar, Manvantara avatar, and Shaktavesh avatar. 6 types of incarnations. But incarnations are innumerable. Avatarahi ashankhayo. But then he is saying, Ete changsha kala pungsha Krishnastu bhagavan swayam. These are all incarnations. Ete cha angsha kala pungsha. Amsa means part, and kala means parts of the parts. Krishnastu bhagavan swayam. Now, at the end of this chapter, Sutta Goswami is telling the rishis in Naimisharanya, the sages in Naimisharanya, that he heard it. He heard it from Śukadeva Gosvāmī. What is his authority? What is his authority? He heard it from Śukadeva Gosvāmī. And Prabhupada is pointing out that creates the authenticity of the speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam. And when they repeat these words of Srimad Bhagavatam, then one sees Krishna in every page of Srimad Bhagavatam. In every page he will see Krishna. Not that he will see Krishna directly as such, but he will see that how everything is manifested due to Krishna's potency, Krishna's arrangement. So that is the purpose of Srimad Bhagavatam. Hearing it from bona fide source. And who is bona fide? The bona fide is that he heard it from a bona fide source and he presents it just the way he heard it. And first of all, he heard it, he understood it, and then he presents it. So when you understand it, then the presentation becomes very simple and easy to understand. A person who didn't understand and present something, it'll be very difficult. Because he himself didn't understand, how can he make anybody else understand? But the one who understood it, when he presents it, it appears to be very, very simple, natural. So that's the first thing is, you hear and you understand. And not only understand, that understanding is called realization. Prabhupada used that word. The realization. And that's what Sutta Goswami said. Yathā-mati. And he also... See the other one? Other expression, the last word of this verse. Yathā-adhītam. Yathā-adhītam. The word adhītam means understood. Adhītavan. He used that word also before. Adhītavan, one who understood. Yathā-adhītam, yathā-mati, as far as my realization. When the understanding becomes digested even further, then it becomes realization. Understanding can be theoretical, but realization is practical, real. So this is how the Supreme Personality of Godhead is seen in every page of Srimad Bhagavatam. And the secret is hearing it from somebody who himself realized it. Like when we have seen, like so many people spoke about Srimad Bhagavatam, but didn't have any effect. Whereas when Srila Prabhupada came, those who never even heard of Bhagavatam, those who never even heard of Krishna, those who never heard of Supreme Personality of Godhead, they became devotees. Like Udayananda Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. I'm trying to become your devotee.
So this is how it works. The effect is, Prabhupada came to America and these American young boys and girls became attracted to Krishna consciousness. Similarly, you all. You heard, actually, those who presented Srila Prabhupada's teachings became attracted. Right? So that is the power of this message about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But one thing is that at least one has to be pure in heart. If the false ego is too strong, one cannot accept this knowledge. If the false ego means I am the greatest. And we come across these kind of people all the time. They just either directly say that we don't believe we are, who is God? We don't know. We don't believe there is any God. The thing is that, did you ever try to find out if God is there or not? They're the gross atheists. And there are another kind of people. They take the words of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam and give a wrong interpretation. Prabhupada used to criticize often. A big scholar in India, Dr. Radha Krishna. Everybody in India thinks that he's a big philosopher. And what is his philosophy? Bhagavad Gita is actually the battle of Kurukshetra, where Bhagavad Gita is spoken, is this body. This body is battle of Kurukshetra, the land of Kurukshetra. And there is constant battle going on. 5 senses. 5 Pandavas or 5 senses. And so forth. I never really know what he had to say. But
in the end, he became paralyzed and he couldn't speak at all.
At the end, he died. At the end, he had to hit the dust. Okay, now find out where the real Kurukshetra is. Now your battle of Kurukshetra is over.
And he lost the battle.
So, this is how we have to be simple-hearted, have faith in the words. And the more we read, the more it becomes clear, the more we become convinced, because it's so emphatically presented there, so clearly presented there. Everything is so clear. These guys, they say, well, creation started so many billions years ago. Our question is, were you there at that time? How do you know that it was? And the common sense is, time moves in cycle, right? After every second, another second comes. After every minute, another minute comes. So time is, you cannot judge it, you cannot define it with such inconceivable when the creation began. We know from the scriptures, because somebody who has the knowledge, he can give us a day of Brahma, month of Brahma, year of Brahma, 100 years of Brahma, finish. Creation began with Brahma, and this universe will last only as long as Brahma will be there. And when Brahma dies, this universe will disappear. Just as when the soul leaves the body is finished. Similarly, when Brahma leaves, this whole universe will be finished. So these are the knowledge. And what is Brahma's day? 1000 Chaturjuga. You're talking about 4 billion.
311 trillion.
Like your people are saying billion. Creation began 2 billion years ago or whatever. 2 billion years is even half a day of Brahma. Like 4.32 billion years is a day of Brahma. So if you say 2 billion years, it's a half a day of Brahma. Not even half a day of Brahma. So that is the difference between speculative knowledge and authoritative knowledge. Scriptures are giving us the authoritative knowledge because the information are coming from that source, which is the origin of everything. Whereas speculative knowledge, what is speculative knowledge is? Like Mr. Frog's knowledge. Mr. Frog of a well.
Dr. Frog.
Okay. Udayananda Prabhu gave him the title doctor.
He's a doctor.
So, Dr. Frog. So another frog came and told him about the ocean. So, oh, ocean? How big is it? What is ocean? It's a big reservoir of water. How big? twice the size of this well. 10 times the size of this well. No, it's much bigger. Much bigger. 100 times the size of this well. 1,000 times the size of this well. Now, according to his, because his knowledge is only limited up to the well. So if he tries to understand it, he will think in terms of the well only. 1,000 times, million times, billion times, zillion times. You know, it will never match. Ocean is ocean. So that is why the intelligent thing is just to submit and hear attentively with rapt attention. Rapt attention means fully absorbed in full faith. Whatever you're hearing, have complete faith. Like when you're sitting in a class, when you are attending the class, I'm talking about when you're in the college and university, what did you do? You had to listen. At that time, you couldn't question, what he's saying, is it true?
Right.
Could you ever think that way? Is what he's saying? No, you accept him as the authority. So similarly, when you listen to these topics, yes, the person has to be an authority. Then only his teachings will be effective, not otherwise. Like if the teacher himself doesn't understand, then how can he make you understand? Therefore, that is the secret. And that is the secret. You hear and you present it the way you heard it. That means not only just repeat the words, repeat the realization, convey the realization. What you understood, you convey to. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Gaur. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Does anybody have any question? Yes.
There is a small doubt in the text 24. So is there any difference in the both Buddhas? The purpose of appearance of Buddha, Anjani Sutta Buddha and Gautam Buddha.
Gautam Buddha.
Purpose
Yeah.
was this.
Yeah, the Gautam Buddha, although he is known as, because the other Buddha's identity has been forgotten. And he is presented as Buddha because Buddha means realized soul.
The purpose of their appearance was the same?
Purpose of appearance is more or less the same. More or less the same. Yeah. He came to stop animal sacrifice. And this Buddha, actually, he considered, he propagated the doctrine of ahaṁ. The point is, this Buddha is not the incarnation. The incarnation Buddha is the Anjani Sutta Buddha. Even now, anybody who is, there are many Buddhas, right? Like when you go to the Chinese shops, you see this laughing Buddha, right? He's a Buddha. They found somebody who was fat and like he became, according to them, he became Buddha. Does this Buddha look like Gautam Buddha? So similar. Laughing Buddha, fat Buddha.
That's what happens when there's no parampara. It just unexpected.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So, we accept our authorities, Sutta Gosvāmī, Śukadeva Gosvāmī, Srila Vyasadeva. And in the mundane universities, they accept their authority, Darwin, right, Freud, these people. These are conditioned souls that have 4 defects, yet they will put implicit faith and those types of people.
Because they don't know about the defects. These people don't know about the four defects. Therefore, they don't judge accordingly. You know, like the guy may be a drunkard.
Right.
The guy may be a womanizer.
Right.
You know, the guy may be a gambler. And meat eater, of course, they all are meat eaters. Right? But for them, it doesn't matter. Right? The thing is that it's a typical democratic tendency. Others are saying he is great, therefore he is great. 25 people is saying he is great, therefore he must be great. Right? They are not judging the person according to his talent or ability. They are judging according to what others are saying. These guys have some intelligence, I mean some misdirected intelligence. Right? They come up with some very brilliant ideas. But, you know, and people accept.
So they're only brilliant if it correlates and lines up with the Siddhanta of the Vedas.
But they're finding faults with them. Now, you know, like, say for example, Einstein's. Now, people are actually finding faults with Einstein.
Right.
These so-called scientists. They're finding faults with Newton. So, their acharyas are being proven to be fallible.
Right.
Whereas our acharyas are infallible. Nobody can find fault in Vāsudev's presentation, Prabhupada's presentation, Bhakti-siddhanta Saraswati's presentation. Because they are not concocting something. They are simply repeating what the Supreme Personality of Godhead presented. That's why that presentation is perfect. Because the source is perfect, presentation is perfect. With them, because the source is imperfect, they'll always find faults. So it's a matter of time, sooner or later.
So the potency is just repeating exactly what was spoken before, not creating some new idea.
Right. The source is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vedas. Right. That is the source. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, glories to Śrīla
Śrīla
Prabhupada.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Gaur Premanande, Hare.
Guru from